Hello, my name is Mark, and this is the second episode of Crisis of Infinite Podcasts. Unfortunately, we had other people to come here, but they're sick at the moment, which sucks. And another reason why,
Damn you, Father Winter!
and the other reason why I haven't done this recently is because I started work, and yeah, I actually have a job. Unlike some people, Anthony, that's right. I know you're listening. You think your podcast is better than mine? You think your little barber show is better than this? Well, I know you're listening.
Well, he's technically got more episodes than you do.
Well, I'm pretty sure to get more viewers with the topic I'm going to talk about instead of his little Bobby Pokemans. Well, sorry about that. Now, to get things out of the way, my topic for today is that...
Also, I'm just not here. I'm not good enough to be introduced. I don't have a name. I'm just the nameless apparition.
Okay, well, let me introduce my guest. You know him from a previous podcast that I did before. Well, first, let me introduce the topic at hand. We're talking about the fourth installment of the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And with my guest, I want to introduce you to the people. Well, they probably know who you are already, but for those of them that don't, I want you to introduce yourself and tell me how you got into fighting games and what your favorite franchises are and all that.
Hello, this is Shadow Spider. I got into Marvel vs. Capcom way back. Not even when it was Marvel vs. Capcom. I got into it back when it was Marvel Heroes, when it still had an arcade cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
I got into it mostly because I've always been into fighters as far back as the SNES. So fighters has always been probably one of my either third favorite or second favorite genres to play.
Well, I got into fighting games when I was I'd say 5 years old. When I was a kid, I went to a car wash that was near my house. I think my mom, my grandma took me there, and they would always give me I'd get a crunch bar from the vending machine, and then I noticed there was a little arcade there, and the arcade game that I got hooked into around that time was Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2. And I played that all the time. The character that I used a lot was Blanca. And I thought to myself that I thought this guy looked kind of cool because he kind of reminded me of Beast from X-Men. And this was around the time when I watched the X-Men cartoon. So I thought oh, this is cool. I want to play this game. And this guy reminds me of Beast. And Beast was one of my favorite X-Men besides Wolverine and Cyclops back in the day.
Yeah, if we're talking our first fighting game, my first fighting game was also Street Fighter 2, but unlike you, I played it in an actual arcade, which was located in the Buena Park Mall, right next to the movie theater, and so there were obviously a lot of people playing Street Fighter 2, and I'd stand in line when I get my turn, I'd play, and so I dropped a fair amount of coins playing against people in that.
Yeah. Also, as I got older, like I said, Street Fighter was basically my first exposure to fighting games. But then also around that time, I was exposed to Mortal Kombat at a young age. I mean, I know that I wasn't technically in the right age group to be playing that, but I played it anyway.
Lots of kids did.
Yeah, and me and my sister played it. We'd get surprised when we did the fatalities, and I just thought it was so great to see the bloody violence in a video game.
Oddly enough, Mortal Kombat is the only fighting game I have ever come across that I cannot play to save my life. I am shit at that game.
Another game that I got exposed to fighting wise was at the bowling alley by Camelot was Tekken, and the character I always played was Keen, because I thought, oh wow, this guy is a dude with a leopard head. That's awesome.
Well, play Panda. Getting slightly back on topic, let's kind of run down what we know about Marvel Infinity. Um, Characters we know so far are, let's see, Captain America,
Captain Marvel,
Captain Marvel, Morgan, Ryu,
Mega Man X,
Mega Man
and
X.
Iron Man.
Capcom remembered X. Capcom remembered Mega Man. Oh my god, this really is a strange year. What were the other characters?
I think that was it.
That was it. Didn't they reveal like two more later?
Really? I don't think so.
That's right. I'm thinking they later revealed Cap and someone else.
Yeah, Cap and Morgan.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Do we want to address the elephant in the room now, or well, actually, let's finish going down what we know. We know those characters are in it. We also know it's going to be 2-on-2 rather than the 3-on-3 that they used for MVC 2 and 3. So it's going back to the MVC 1 format. And we know there's going to be Infinity Stones, which act as power-ups, which oddly enough is not the first time that the Marvel vs. Capcom games have done that. They also did that back when it was just Marvel characters, and it was they also did that way back when it was like Marvel superheroes.
Yeah,
I forget which
I think it was called War of the Gems.
Yeah, it was Marvel Heroes War of the Gems.
Yeah, I also remember playing that game because when I was a kid, like, I think I rented it, I believe, at a Blockbuster or Hollywood Video because I was still in the Marvel back then.
Yeah.
And like I was like totally into Spider-Man because this was like around the time when I saw the first movie and I thought it was like the greatest movie I saw in the world. And I played Spider-Man a lot in that game.
I believe I played that game at the roller rink that used to be near my house. So that's pretty much all we know. We know a couple characters. We know it's 2v2 rather than 3v3, and we know about the Infinity Stones acting as in-game power-ups.
Yeah. And
do we want to address the elephant in the room now, or do we want to address it later?
Is it about the game?
No. Well, yeah.
Maybe later.
Okay.
So my next topic that I wanted to talk about is that well, my first exposure to MVC2, I believe, was I think I know that it was an arcade game, but I also remember renting it at my local video store, and the characters that I played the most as was Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine. But as I got older, I got to learn more of like the mechanics and the fighting styles of different characters, and like as I got older, I played more Street Fighter games, and like I got more comfortable with like characters like Ryu, Ken, Akuma, and Guile, and so on.
Yeah. MVC2 is a really good game, and a lot of people praise it as being the best. And I played it a lot. I first played it on the Dreamcast when it originally came out. Then I played most of my game time for that is on the PS2 with my friend Jason. We were pretty evenly matched. So my best characters in MVC2 were Spider-Man, Gambit, and I never really found a third one, so I kind of just alternated between a bunch of different ones. Here's the thing. MVC2 is a good game, but it has a very steep learning curve when you're talking about just playing it for fun, and the people who are just pro who will just like decimate you.
Yeah. Because, like, I feel like that every time I play against your Spider-Man. But I have beaten him, like, I believe 3 times. Like, twice with Wolverine and once with Sabretooth.
No, there is... It's not even a learning curve. It's
more like a lifestyle.
Well, no, it's more like... A learning curve means it goes up. This is more like it goes up and you kind of hit a ceiling if you're a casual player. And then you jump over the ceiling... And that's when you've got the expert players who will, like, get one hit in, and before you can even react, you lose your entire life bar and are down to, like, only 2 characters.
I've been against those type of players, and it sucks.
Tatsunoko vs. Capcom had that problem as well. That's actually, I think MVC3 was a little bit more balanced in that there wasn't that steep learning curve when it came to being
good. The air
good.
combos were like easier to do.
Yeah.
Because like I just spammed the air combos in that game like crazy. Cause like I haven't played it in a while, but like I could probably still beat people in that game.
Yeah.
Cause I one of my best characters in MVC3 was Super Scroll, but I hate to sound like a spammer, but like I would spam like the tenderizer like crazy.
My best in MVC3 would be X-23. And then Captain America, mainly because the fact that his shield could return made him a much better. Like, I was
Oh
already
yeah.
okay with him in MVC2,
Uh-huh.
but the shield throw return made him much more viable for me. And so
Yeah.
he kind of became my second
Yeah.
best.
Wolverine, I think, was better in MVC3 because he was more faster. Plus, they in the ultimate upgrade with the ultimate DLC, they gave him a new move where you would just spam like the punch button and he would just repeatedly stab the opponent.
That was so cheap.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that in Infinite they fix Spider-Man because in 3 they kind of nerfed his speed and
Yeah.
I just could not play him in 3 cuz his speed had just been like cut in half.
Yeah. And I hope that in MVC Infinite, like if they don't introduce either Ken or Ryu, they may I mean not Ken and Ryu, Ken and Akuma, they give Ryu the ability to switch his fighting style to those characters like in MVC 1.
I would love that because Ryu was one of my favorite characters in MVC 1 simply because of that ability. I loved being able to switch my fighting style.
Yeah.
I'd actually like not only if they added that, but if they added that you can do that without needing a power bar.
Mhm. So, maybe we should probably I guess would be a good time to address the big elephant in the room.
Yeah, the big elephant in the room. You want to.
Yeah, apparently with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, uh, they want to have Marvel characters within the MCU. So that means you won't get any X-Men characters. No Wolverine, no Magneto, and no Fantastic Four characters either, like no Doctor Doom.
That's. Okay, first off, I'm going to go into a little bit of trivia / history before we go any further regarding what is known as the X-Men embargo, because I watched a video that really went in and explained why that embargo is in place, and I'm going to try and summarize it really quickly. So there are two parts of Marvel that report to Disney, and they are separate from each other. There's Marvel Studios, which is headed by Kevin Feige, and they are in charge of the cinematic universe and all the movies and all of that. The second one is Marvel Entertainment, and that is headed by a guy, I forget his name, but I know his last name is Perlmutter. And that division is in charge of the other stuff. They are in charge of the comics, they are in charge of the games, the shows, all of that. And first off, Perlmutter is a complete jackass. Like, he makes Scrooge McDuck look like the king of generosity. He is that bad.
Oh boy.
He is also the main reason for the X-Men embargo because he is super pissed that Fox has the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men. Like, he is so bad that at Marvel Entertainment, they had to take down all X-Men posters because he would just go into a rage anytime he saw one. He is that pissed at Fox and their ownership of the X-Men. He is the one who is pushing for the Inhumans to replace the X-Men, likely as a big fuck you to Fox. So if you have ever asked yourself, who do I blame for the X-Men being given the shaft? Perlmutter. Perlmutter is the guy who hates the fact that Marvel does not own the movie rights to the X-Men, and he has just decided no more X-Men.
That's basically what Marvel vs. Capcom is. No more X-Men. And this is, in fact, the name of the episode. Not No More X-Men, but more like No More Mutants.
Yeah.
To say.
So, now that I kind of got that history out of the way, that is going to affect a lot of players because two of the top characters I know in MVC2, and I'm pretty sure in MVC3, was Doctor Doom and Magneto.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing a story that in MVC3, they had to fight in order to keep Storm in because of the fact that she was a mainstay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason she got back in, was because she was a mainstay. She had, I believe she had been in the original. I can't remember. But I know they had to fight to keep an X-Men character in who had been in from the beginning, and that was the only reason they got them in.
Well, I think before the Marvel superhero fighting game by Capcom, I think they had X-Men Children of the Atom, which was an X-Men fighting game by Capcom. And then they did the crossover with Street Fighter. Then they did the Marvel game, and then Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah. But like I was saying, that's going to screw over a lot of pro players, because a lot of pro players, some of their best characters tend to be Magneto, Doctor Doom, and Sentinel. I know that those three tend to be top tier.
Sentinel is a cheap ass.
He is kind of cheap.
Yeah. And it's a good thing Jersey isn't here, because he's also cheap. He does not know how to play any of those games.
He just spams the chargers.
Yep, he spams Hulk, he spams Sentinel, he spams Juggernaut, any of the big characters.
And then I mop the floor with him by spamming Iron Man.
All 3 Iron Men.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's see.
Well, now that we've kind of got a little bit about the game out of the way, let's go into first who are likely to be removed. What characters are you going to miss the most when it comes to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four? And number 2, what Marvel heroes would you like to see added? And same for Capcom.
All right. Well, that actually is a topic on my paper about like characters we want to see in it. Well, as far as characters that we're going to miss, I'm going to miss Wolverine, because he's been a mainstay in the franchise for God knows how long.
Oh, easily since the first game.
Yeah, and like not only is he the most popular X-Men, he's one of the most popular Marvel characters. So his replacement, I can see Black Panther taking over him.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that they predict Black Panther will basically be the Wolverine stand-in.
And I know Jean was in the last game, but I think Captain Marvel is her replacement.
I could see that. That makes sense. Does that mean that Captain Marvel's going to have piss poor health?
I don't know.
Well, because that was Jean's big drawback. She was a powerhouse, but her health was crap.
Yeah, but if you unlock the Dark Phoenix power, then like she, I guess, was good.
Well, it's more she got a second health bar.
Yeah.
But her health still went down just as fast.
Yeah, but in order to unlock Dark Phoenix power, she's gotta like be at level 5 mats. Yeah, and I know Storm is gonna be replaced.
Oh yeah.
Possibly by Thor. Well, Thor was in the last game, so
Yeah.
like he's obviously gonna like be the new Storm.
Maybe.
But he has his own unique fighting style.
Yeah, that's the thing. He can't really replace Storm because he's already got a different fighting style from her.
Well, I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, and Deadpool is going to be replaced, and he was just introduced in the last game.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Deadpool is extremely popular right now, so that might be enough to get him apart.
Well, I don't know.
But I'm not counting on it.
I don't know who could replace him. I think...
Well, because Deadpool has such a weird fighting style.
Yeah, I don't know who could replace him. I guess possibly Taskmaster, because he was in the last game, but...
I think there's a better chance of a Capcom character being a good Deadpool stand-in.
Probably Dante. I mean,
no, because Dante's already in it and he has his own fighting style.
Yeah.
I'm just not versed enough on all of the Capcom franchises to know who would be a good Deadpool stand-in. I'm sure there is someone, because just because Capcom kind of tends to have crazier characters.
Yeah. And I know that we're probably gonna see probably Avengers from like the movies. Like I know that Doctor Strange was in the last game, so he's probably gonna be in this one.
Yeah, I could see Well, wasn't Doctor Strange in? Oh yeah, he was in the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But does that mean that if Doctor Strange is in it, will we see like Dormammu and Shomogoroth return?
I don't know. I'm really not sure about that. One person I'm sure who will get in is the Winter Soldier. I'm sure he'll be in
Oh
there.
yeah.
The characters I'm gonna miss, obviously. Well, first off, I already missed Gambit because he was one of my best
Uh-huh.
characters, and Cyclops. He was another one of my best characters. I'm gonna miss X-23 because she kind of replaced Gambit when he got
Oh yeah.
axed.
I'm also gonna miss Doctor Doom.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna miss Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was better with him than I was with Magneto.
In terms of characters I want to see, well, right off the bat, I'm glad that Mega Man is in it, and I mean more glad that it's X because I was always a bigger fan of the X series than the regular series. Um, Marvel characters. Well, fix Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who I'm actually expecting to be in it? I would not be surprised if Spider-Gwen was put in.
Yeah, probably. Like she could be like the X-23 to
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah, I can see that.
Well, I would actually like to see. I don't know if I think Sony still owns Venom because Venom was in MVC 2 and MVC 1, so I don't know if he'll return.
I'm not sure. I think Marvel really just got the rights to Spider-Man himself.
Mm.
I I'm not sure exactly how that whole rights issue works because I remember when the Spider-Man trailer dropped recently, there were a lot of people saying that in the trailer, I must have missed it, but I there were a lot of people saying that the trailer said a Sony production.
Yeah,
So I'm
it
not
said
sure.
Marvel Studios / Sony.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much control. Um, I think the basic gist is in regards to Spider Man himself, Marvel has the ability to say yay or nay on what is done with him. They can't decide what is done with him, but they can decide if what Sony is going to do with him is something they want to go through or not.
Well, if they can't use Venom, I could probably see Carnage as a replacement.
Oh, like I said, I think Marvel only has rights over Spider Man himself.
Hmm.
I don't think they have rights to the rest of his cast.
Hmm. Well, I do know that Vulture is the main villain in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
So they're obviously, I guess Marvel owns the rights to maybe his more classic Rhodes Gallery.
No, no, no. Like I said, it's a case of Marvel can decide specifically with Peter what is and isn't done with him.
Oh.
So stuff involving other characters, yeah, I think Sony can do whatever they want with him. But really, what's the point of doing a movie without Spider-Man? I mean, they tried getting that off the ground and it crashed and burned.
Yep. It sure did. Well, one character I'd like to see from Capcom to be in this game is Asura from Asura's Wrath.
Mm.
But like he'd probably be way too OP because he's like past god tier. And
Well, Thanos is OP as hell, and you still got him going up against like
yeah,
friggin'
true,
Ryu. So
true.
I don't see why you can't put in Asura. Fighting games, power levels do not matter. It's like DBZ. Power levels
Those
are bullshit.
Yeah. Speaking of Thanos, I could see him in it because the Infinity Stones play a huge part in this game.
Yeah, well, there's no reason for him not to be in it. He's obviously going to be in it.
Yeah, but in the trailer we saw a glimpse of like who I think is the main villain, and some people believe that it's Ultron.
I'm not too sure about that because I don't remember any iteration with Ultron where he had eyes in his stomach.
Well, Ultron keeps evolving and has like different upgrades and forms. So
No, no, no. You see, you're missing the very obvious hint. Clearly, this is Krang, and this game is going to cross over with the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I'd definitely play that.
You know what? So would I.
Oh man, because if Ultron is in the game, I can probably see him as a replacement for Doctor Doom.
Yeah, he probably would do well as a Doom replacement. Wouldn't have the same charisma, though.
Yeah. But I know Ghost Rider was in the last game, and if they introduce him, would it be Johnny Blaze or would it be Robbie Reyes? Because Robbie Reyes is getting more fame because of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm not sure.
Maybe they could probably have him as like a alternate costume.
You know what? No, wait. I was gonna say something, but it was stupid. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And if Iron Man's in it, will they bring back War Machine or no?
Um, I would think they would want to simply because Iron Man is not, Robert Downey Jr. is not going to be Iron Man for too much longer. So I would see them wanting to expose War Machine a bit more.
Yeah.
They got to differentiate his moveset a bit more,
Oh.
though.
Yeah, and seeing as the popularity from the Netflix TV shows like Daredevil and Luke Cage, I can see those characters in the game
Yeah.
because Daredevil would be really fun to play.
Daredevil would be an interesting character. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know Mugen has Daredevil, and like one of the edits of him is pretty much fun to play as. And I know Iron Fist was in the last game, and I do like the fact that they give him different fighting stances.
I would love to see Capcom put in characters from Power Stone because that's actually a fighting game that they produced that was on the Dreamcast, and it was really fun.
Yeah. And another character I'd probably like to see, I can see this character probably being Dormammu's replacement, and that would be Loki.
You know what? I'm surprised they didn't put Loki in 3.
Yeah, because like they could utilize his what you call it, his image trickery that he does in the movies.
Yeah.
Like that can be like utilized to his advantage.
I know a lot of people have been speculating on if Zero will be in.
Oh yeah, because he was in the last game.
Because he was in the last game, he was in Tatsunoko.
What about Tron?
That Mega Man is still stuck on the moon.
Trombone?
It's a joke if you've ever played the Mega Man Legends series.
Oh.
You know what I'm sure will be in there to represent Capcom? I'm sure they will put somebody from Monster Hunter in there.
Oh yeah, because it is Monster Hunter. Oh,
well, because Monster Hunter has become like a huge franchise
yeah,
for them.
I mean, because it is Capcom. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What if they did like guest characters? Because you know how like the Mortal Kombat games, like they have like guest characters from like movies like Alien, Predator, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger.
I doubt it because the Marvel vs. Capcom games have never done that.
Yeah, but like if they did, you know who would be a great guest character, even though this character is not Marvel or Capcom? Bayonetta.
Yeah, that would be cool, but if Marvel vs. Capcom is going to do guest characters, my bet is they're going to do guest characters from another fighting franchise, and the one I think they would have the best luck getting are characters from Tekken. Because Street Fighter already crossed over with Tekken.
Yeah, that's true.
So I could totally see them putting in a few Tekken characters.
And if Marvel did any guest characters, I highly doubt that they'll get any X-Men back. Unless somehow Marvel does get the rights back to them sooner than later.
Well, I very much doubt there'll be any X-Men characters, and here is why. We have already had 2 announcements for that game when it comes to fighters, and none of them been Wolverine. And Wolverine is always one of the first Marvel vs. Capcom characters to be shown.
That's true.
So if even Wolverine is not being put in this game, there is no hope for any of the other X-Men, except for possibly Deadpool. But that's only because Deadpool has shot up so much in popularity thanks to the movie.
That's true. Let's see. You know how I said that Iron Fist has like different fighting styles, like different fighting poses? You know how Hawkeye has like different arrows to use?
Mm-hmm.
I think one character that could actually work in a fighting game in Marvel vs. Capcom could probably be the Mandarin, because like he has like different rings for like different powers. Like they could probably work for different stances or like different abilities, such as he has a flame ring, a lightning ring, an ice ring.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
On the Capcom side, 2 other franchises, well, actually 3 other franchises I'm wondering if get in. One is Final Fight, because that's such a no-brainer. I mean, that's a brawling series already, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised they haven't put in anybody from Final Fight. Um, I would like to see somebody from the Breath of Fire series because that's a pretty good series, and it'd be interesting to see some sword and sorcery characters in there.
Well, obviously, you're probably gonna see Resident Evil characters return.
Uh,
Like with
who?
Jill.
Yeah, Jill was been
I
in it,
did
and
not
then
like.
they put in
I
Chris.
did not like how she was in MVC3. I liked her in MVC2 better.
Yeah. Are there any? Is there anyone else from?
Resident Evil, yeah, they had Nemesis and
Oh, right.
Wesker.
That's right. I wonder. Nah, I mean it would piss. I'd find it funny just because of how many people it would piss off. But I wonder if they would put in Dante.
Dante?
Uh, Dante is the fan name for the Devil May Cry reboot character.
Oh, Dino.
Yeah.
The Bieber Dante.
I doubt they will because they've already kind of backtracked on Dante and tried to sweep him under the rug.
Yeah. It would be funny if they introduced the Fat Man Mega Man from the Street Fighter Tekken
No,
crossover.
I don't think they're gonna do that twice.
Yeah. Because Capcom knows that everybody loves Mega Man, and that's why they put in Ets in this game. Let's see, who else? I know Hagar was in the last game, but I wonder if he'll be back or if he'll get replaced by Zangief.
You know what I would think would be cool? Would be instead of Zero, I would love it if they put in the Battle Network Mega Man. Because the Battle Network Mega Man was known for using swords much more than his Buster. So I think, like, if they don't do Zero, putting in Battle Network Mega Man as kind of a replacement would be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, even though Hulk is owned by Universal solo movie-wise, he'll obviously make a comeback.
Oh, yeah, he'll be in there.
But, because he is part of the Avengers universe.
Yeah.
But will She-Hulk return?
I don't see why not. I don't see any reason for not putting her in. Because there's not really a big rights issue with her as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, because since Marvel can't do a solo Hulk movie, they didn't say anything about She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't tried introducing She-Hulk in, like, even the shows.
Yeah, that's true. Because one of the actresses who's in the Daredevil show, the chick that plays Claire Temple, the night nurse, she said that she wanted to be She-Hulk.
That'd be cool. Another series I'm wondering if they'll put anybody in, because this series has kind of been dead for a long time, is Rival Schools.
Never heard of it.
I'm not sure how many there have been. I know one of them was on the Dreamcast. I haven't played it, but I remember a long time ago, there's a magazine I had that had information on Rival Schools and, like, combos for all the characters.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that was my phone, everybody. Don't worry, I'm not texting while podcasting.
He lies. He lies. I'm sure Strider Hero will come back. I'm sure Beautiful Joe will come back. I wonder if they'll put in Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Sylvia is Joe's girlfriend.
Oh.
She gets powers in the second game.
I'm sure that they'll also put back more characters from Darkstalkers, like like Felicia. Maybe Hasenko will return. Who's the name of the wolf again?
Oh, you know what? I forget his name.
Yeah, I forgot.
You want to know what's kind of funny about Darkstalkers? Is the side characters are more well known than the main character. I don't even know the main character's name, yet I know the names of, like, Morgan, Felicia, and, like, one or two other Darkstalker characters, but I don't remember the name of the actual main character of the series.
Yeah. Oh, other characters I can see from the Marvel side, due to its huge popularity, is definitely Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. I'm fully expecting Star-Lord to be in there.
Oh, yeah, because, like, his elemental gun would, like, be amazing.
Yeah, that would be a very cool mechanic.
Yeah. Because I know Rocket Raccoon was in the last game, so he'll probably make a return.
I'm surprised they didn't put Groot in.
Oh, I know. Like, he could probably be, like, part of Rocket's combo.
Yeah.
Maybe in the new game.
Make him part of the Super.
Yeah, like he'll be a part of the super.
Do you think Ant-Man will be his own character this time around?
Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about Ant-Man. Like, I could probably see that, but if it's Ant-Man, it's obviously going to be Scott Lang.
Oh yeah, which will piss Alex off.
Yeah, but I'm pretty
Not my Ant-Man.
but I'm pretty sure that they'll have Hank Pym as like an alternate costume.
I wouldn't be surprised if they'll probably still keep him as Hawkeye's ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably an alternate costume.
Yeah, or they could give him the Scott Lang costume, but call him Hank Pym, because in the Marvel,
No, I doubt it.
because in Avengers Assemble, the recent Marvel cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
Ant-Man is in it. He does have the Scott Lang costume, but it's Hank Pym.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Wasp isn't in it, but I wouldn't be surprised if she got put in.
Yeah, maybe like if Ant-Man was playable, she could be part of the super combo.
Yeah.
I wonder if Nova will return.
I hope so. I like Nova. I'm hoping we get a full Nova in the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that characters who have not had their movies yet might be in MVC Infinite.
Well, that would just be smart marketing because if you're putting in characters that are gonna eventually be full out characters in the MCU, why not put them in one of the most played fighting games to get more exposure for them?
Yeah, that is true.
Like, that's why I'm expecting Iron Fist to return because he's getting a Netflix series. So having him in the game, it's like free PR for the Netflix series.
Exactly. Well, okay, I think we're pretty much done with characters we want to be in it, but I'll tell you who I don't want to be in it, especially as an alternate for Hulk.
Oh, the
Awesome Hulk.
Awesome Hulk.
Oh god, I hope they don't do that.
I wouldn't care if he was in it as a alternate costume.
They're probably gonna do it because like Marvel now is like popular, like it's
Yeah.
like the new thing, basically. Okay, moving on. We're practically done with the characters now. All right, so no more. Um, let's talk about some of our favorite fighting games.
Oh god, that's such a long list. Well, I mean, I think kind of the number one for both of us is largely because we have the chance to play it so much with friends and we kind of get so much social and enjoyment out of it would be Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's true.
But again, for I think both of us, I think the main reason it tops the list is just because we get such a big social element out of it because so many people that we know play it.
Yeah, that's true. Like Smash is one of my favorite games. I also like the MVC franchise. I like Street Fighter. I know that I like Mortal Kombat as well. Injustice I enjoy, and I can't wait for the sequel.
There are so many fighting games because I'm somewhat of a fighting game junkie. I already mentioned Smash. Probably my second favorite after that would be the Naruto GameCube series, the Gektoy Ninja Tyson series, because I remember
Clash
playing
of Ninja.
Yeah, the Clash of Ninja series, because I remember playing that a lot in the student center being pretty good at it.
Oh, my favorite. You were talking about GameCube. Oh, my favorite fighting game for the GameCube was Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. Oh man, I really wish that they made more games of that. But I do know that there's going to be a downloadable game called, which is made by the same guy. It's called Kaiju Combat, and the characters that are in it are basically like fan-made kaijus, but it will also have like famous kaijus like Godzilla and Gamera.
And then I like the Dragon Ball Z, specifically the Budokai series.
Yeah.
Because I think that got the fast pace down the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like, let's see, there's Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, Street Fighter. Oddly enough, I actually prefer the old 2D Street Fighter to the newer kind of 3D Street Fighter.
Yeah, I like the 2D one as well.
Yeah, obviously MVC. Power Stone is another fighting game I like. I played that a lot on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, but for those of you who are disappointed in characters that won't be in MVC, or have not been in the any MVC games, whether it be past or present, you're in luck. There's a game that's downloadable and it's called Mugen, which is basically everything and everyone from Marvel to DC to DBZ to Naruto, to basically famous movie franchises like Star Wars.
Yeah, have fun getting
Everything.
it running.
Oh, because of me? Well, I actually did download a new version and it works pretty well. But the problem I have with it is that I can't exit out and like switch characters. I gotta like close out of it and then just like repeat the process, which is dumb.
Yeah. Let's see. Are there any other fighting games that I'm a big fan of?
I have one. I don't know if this counts as fighting games, but when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of WWE as a kid, and I played WWE games like the ones for the N64, like No Mercy, and I also played like the SmackDown games for the PlayStation, and I also play some of the 2K games.
I think the UFC games are a bit more like fighting games than most of the wrestling games tend to be.
Yeah, true. But I haven't. I think I might have played like one UFC fighting game. And
But have you played the best wrestling game ever, The Simpsons Wrestling?
oh, actually, I have, and I actually did enjoy it as a kid.
I
Krusty was my best character. I would spam his mallet attack like crazy.
I know a fighting game that I tended to play a lot when I was a kid, but was bad at it, and honestly, it's not a very well-made game. Was the TMNT tournament game?
Oh, for the NES, Super NES?
No, I played it for the Genesis.
Oh,
It was not a well-made game, but I tried.
well, the Super Nintendo game was actually better.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, since we got that out of the way, how about since MVC is basically like the most popular crossover, I wonder what next crossover we would like to see in the future.
Well, I think the crossover that a lot of people would love to see would be a Marvel versus DC crossover.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I'm kind of amazed that has never happened. I mean, I know they're rival companies, but they have done conjoined projects, and I'm just amazed that that's not one of them, because there really wouldn't be a matter of what character has to win. Because, like, sometimes they'll have these stipulations of this character has to be shown in a certain light. You don't exactly have that trouble with a fighting game.
Yeah,
And DC's also done fighting game crossovers as well. They did the Mortal Kombat crossover. I would say the only reason they haven't done it is because whenever Marvel or DC does do a fighting game, they tend to outsource it to a company that they tend to do a crossover and outsource it to a company that actually knows how to do fighting games. You know, Marvel tends to outsource to Capcom. DC tends to outsource to NetherRealm, which does Mortal Kombat.
Uh-huh. And NetherRealm and DC are both owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So I think it would be very hard. I think the reason we haven't gotten one is it'd be very hard to get both companies to agree to outsource their characters to a third party to make a fighting game.
Yeah, and you think Disney will own Capcom? Because imagine a Marvel vs. Capcom movie.
No, and the main reason for that is because Capcom is a Japanese gaming company.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a branch here in the West, but you know what? I am not going to state anything. I'm just going to say I know absolutely nothing when it comes to an American company taking over a company from a different nation. All I'm going to say is that there is probably a lot of legal red tape when it comes to that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise, I guarantee you, Disney would have tried to buy out Nintendo a long time ago.
Oh yeah. Because I think Universal owns Nintendo because
No,
well, aren't they doing the theme attractions?
that's a partnership, though. That's not ownership.
Oh, I see.
Nintendo is still self-owned.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if this would count as a crossover, but one of my favorite storylines in the WWE, well, some people would probably disagree with this. Like, some people hate it, some people like it. I actually liked it, and that was the invasion arc when basically WCW and ECW came to invade the WWE, and I'm surprised that they never put that as like a main story for the 2K games.
Clearly, we need WWE versus Scooby-Doo.
That's already been done.
Exactly.
But I think if you just label WWE on anything, it'll make anything better. Like imagine Marvel versus WWE or WWE and Smash Brothers.
I don't know. My suspension of disbelief only goes so far. I'm going to have trouble accepting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson taking down Thanos.
Well, there was a WWE game with it's a mobile game, and like the gameplay was very similar to that of Injustice, and they kind of made the WWE wrestlers into superheroes, basically.
Didn't WWE have like its own superhero show back in the day?
No, but
No.
it did have its own Saturday morning cartoon with Hulk Hogan.
Oh. Everything had a Saturday morning cartoon back then.
Yeah. Well, my next crossover I'd like to see is well, oh man. I wish that they could do like a Disney fighting game with Marvel, or better yet, since Disney owns both of these properties, why not Star Wars versus Marvel?
Well, Disney is a tough one. They want to obviously keep their squeaky clean image, but I think they have enough characters that are combat oriented that they could make a fighting game out of it.
Yeah.
Because you've got Peter Pan, who's kind of fighting oriented.
You got Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow. The Tron dude.
Uh-huh.
I think there's enough characters that you could have a Disney fighting game.
You think they'll have any of the Saturday morning cartoons in it, like Darkwing Duck?
Yeah, Darkwing Duck would be a good one because he's a crime fighter. You know what? Now I do
Lightyear
know.
would make a good character to play as.
Yeah, Buzz and Woody would be good.
Yeah.
Now I do know what crossover I would love to see. I would love to see Nintendo versus Disney.
Oh, that would be great.
That would just be every character from your childhood kicking each other's asses.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to see TMNT versus X-Men. I think that would be pretty cool.
Or how about like yeah, and like they could probably make it like give it the Capcom fighting engine.
Or maybe you know what would be, you'd have a huge roster you could pull from. I would love to see Power Rangers versus something.
Oh, I got one.
Because with Power Rangers, you can pull from all of the different seasons.
Yeah. But I kind of had one since you mentioned Power Rangers, but instead of the Rangers, it would probably just be more focused on the Megazords. It would probably be the Power Ranger Megazords against like the kaijus from the Godzilla movies.
That'd be interesting. There was a Power Rangers Megazord fighting game for the Super Nintendo. That's
cool.
It was okay. I think it like ran off more or less the Street Fighter engine.
You think a Pokemon versus Digimon game would work?
I don't know, but I would love that.
Oh, great. I just had to mention that.
Angemon, top tier. No. Omnimon, top tier.
Which one's the waifu Digimon? Is it Omnimon?
Which one? What are you talking about? There's like a dozen waifu Digimon. Let's see. There's Well, the furry waifu Digimon would be Renamon.
Yeah.
If you want human waifu Digimon, you've got Angel Woman, Lilithmon. Or no, yeah, Lilithmon, Shakuamon, Lilymon. Although Lilymon is part plant, so Digimon is just full of waifu Digimon.
Hey, hey.
Um, um, so what else do you have on that list?
Well, I think we pretty much covered everything about Marvel vs. Capcom at the moment. Well, we still actually have enough time, and I kind of wanted to do this in another podcast, but this is probably gonna like be like really short. We got like about like 20 minutes or so because like I'm pretty sure like it would have probably taken that much time to
Okay, just say
it.
what the topic is.
It's our thoughts on the live action Disney remakes, our thoughts, opinions, and what we want to see.
My thoughts are they started off really weird because rather than doing straight up reboots, they were doing these weird different interpretations. Like with Maleficent, they were like, let's focus on Maleficent and make the other characters idiots.
Yeah.
Then there was the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, oh god. And just like the only thing that saved Maleficent was Angelina Jolie. Like most people have said, like
I never seen the Maleficent movie.
Neither have I, but from what I've heard, the only thing that saves that movie is her performance.
I bet.
But now they seem to have completely shifted gears and are just trying to make them faithful adaptations.
Yeah.
With slight tweaks here and there, but for the most part, sticking to the original story.
The recent remakes were Cinderella, Jungle Book,
and Beauty and the Beast looks to be taking that same track.
And apparently we're also getting a Lion King remake.
We're getting Lion King, we're getting Mulan, and I believe we're getting Little Mermaid. I believe all of those have been confirmed.
I think Aladdin's confirmed.
Aladdin, they said they were doing a genie movie, but considering the passing of Robin Williams, and considering that movie has kind of been stuck in development hell, I'm not sure if that one's actually going to get far enough into production. That might just kind of get stuck.
Because I don't know who can replace Robin Williams.
The only one I can think of is Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah, probably. But I think an actor who has that same energy level as Robin Williams is Jim Carrey.
Yeah. It's because I'm green, isn't it?
Well, also, the same director who's doing the Lion King remake also did Jungle Book, and he's doing a sequel to Jungle Book with Lion King back to back.
Where do you go with the Jungle Book?
Well, there actually were 3 books for the Jungle Book.
Oh, well, but aren't they all different stories?
Pretty much.
Yeah, the only one that is Mowgli is the one that's well known.
Yeah.
The other stories don't even have Mowgli. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. You know, in the 80s, in the 90s, sorry, in the late 90s, Disney just pumped out sequel after sequel after sequel to their classics. And the only ones that really did well was the Aladdin sequels and the Lady and the Tramp sequel, and a lot of people like to say the Lion King sequel. Here's the thing, though. The Lady and the Tramp sequel had material to go on. The original Lady and the Tramp was based on a comic. It was a long-running comic, so for the sequel, they just adapted later issues. Lion King, the original, everybody has said it's an adaptation of Hamlet, so the sequel, adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. But all of the ones that failed, the Beauty and the Beast ones, the Cinderella one, the Little Mermaid one, Hunchback, all of those are sequels with no pre-existing material to go on. And even with the Aladdin thing, they kind of had material because The second Aladdin was meant partially to set up the TV show, and then the third movie
Was
was
the finale.
was originally meant to be a finale. But back on the reboots. So we know we're getting Mulan. We know we're getting Beauty and the Beast because the trailer's already come out for that. We know we're getting
Lion King.
Lion King. And I believe we're getting Little Mermaid. I've heard that that's slated.
I think I also heard rumors about Snow White. And I also did hear rumors of Tim Burton doing Pinocchio, but I don't know if it's going to be Disney's Pinocchio.
I'm wondering how a Snow White one will do, simply because it's going to have to deal with. Sorry about that. It's going to have to deal with the baggage of the Snow White movies that came out a few years ago.
Oh yeah, like Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah, and those movies were not received well, so doing another live-action Snow White, even if you say from Disney, that movie's going to have an uphill battle because it's going to have kind of bad name recognition attached to it.
Yeah. Yep.
What other movies do you think they're going to do? Like, they can't do a live-action Zootopia, obviously.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but this is going to be eventually live-action Frozen.
Yep. I can see it.
Well, if they ever did a live-action Moana, I want The Rock to come back as Maui.
Well, why not? I mean, one, he voices the character, and two, it wouldn't be that difficult to make him look like Maui.
Yeah, and his singing voice is just perfect. I mean, I never thought he could sing. I mean, well, the guy can basically wrestle as good as he can act, and the guy is just over the place. I mean, I still can't believe he wants to be president in 2020.
Well, going back to the reboot thing, let's look at this kind of chronologically. Right now, they're already up to the 90s. Late 80s, actually. I'm sorry. They're up to the late 80s and early 90s with stuff like Mulan and Lion King. So what came later? You know, what Disney movies
Hunchback.
later? Yeah, I'm expecting a Hunchback movie.
I could probably see a Hercules movie.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and they got to get James Woods back as Hades.
You know what? I'm wondering if they will be able to get Danny DeVito back.
Oh, as Phil?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Get your sword!
Get my sword! Oh, for the Aladdin reboot, I hope they get Gilbert Gottfried back as Iago.
Yeah, because he'd have to voice a CGI character.
Yeah,
so they
that's
could do
true.
That. We got problems here. Big problems.
I just wish they brought back Robin Williams.
I don't know. Does anyone at Disney practice necromancy?
Come on, man.
I know. I wonder who they would get to play Aladdin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I also wonder how much of an uproar it would cause if they got like a white actor to play Aladdin, and the same with Jasmine.
Oh yeah,
because they're supposed to be Indian.
I thought they were Middle Eastern.
I'm not sure what region Agrabah would connotate to back then.
I think it is in the Middle East. I'm pretty sure. And for Lion King, I really hope that they would get James Earl Jones back as Mufasa.
I'm sure they could get Kyle Hebert back as Simba.
Kyle Hebert did Simba?
Yeah.
When?
He did adult Simba.
I thought that was Matthew Broderick.
Oh, that's right. That's Matthew Broderick. I'm sorry. You know what? I got that mixed up with something else. Sorry. Yeah. Obviously, they can't get the kid Simba back. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I think I know who could be a good Scar. Tom Hiddleston.
They could get Tim Curry. Tim Curry still.
No, not Tim Curry. It was Jeremy Irons.
No. Tim Curry substituted for Jeremy Irons.
No, that was Jim Cummings.
Oh, Jim Cummings. There we go. I always get Jim Cummings and Tim Curry confused. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, they could get... considering he was able to do the singing voice very well, they could get Jim Cummings to do the voice in general.
I know who could be Rafiki. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that would be... I could see that. Who are you gonna get as Zazu?
Oh, that's weird. I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy that did his voice was the same guy that played Mr. Bean.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. When it comes to stuff that involves animals, since they're all going to have to be CGI, you could get a lot of the original voice actors back. You know what? Now that I say that, I remember the Jungle Book, and I'm like, you know what? They probably aren't going to get a lot of the original voice actors back. Because if they were going to do that, they would have already done that for the Jungle Book.
Yeah. I wish that if who was the guy that did Shere Khan in Tailspin? Tony Jay. If he was still alive, he would have been perfect in the live action reboot as Shere Khan.
Yeah, aren't most of the Tailspin characters or the Jungle Book characters passed away?
I believe so.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't get many of them.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Let's see. I wonder what else is there to talk about.
Well, let me look up what other Disney movies we're kind of glossing over. You know what movie they obviously need to do?
What?
They need to do the Song of the South.
Oh boy. I can't think of another movie that came out after Mulan, and you think they'll do a no? I was gonna say like a live action Emperor's New Groove or Lilo and Stitch.
You know what? I'm amazed that they that we have not seen an announcement for a live action Pocahontas.
Oh yeah, I could see that
with a white Pocahontas. I'll piss so many people.
Yeah.
Well, I've already heard that some of the people in Mulan are going to be white.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a big uproar about that.
You think they'll get Eddie Murphy back as Mushu?
It's not like he's doing anything.
Or either that, I can see him being replaced by Kevin Hart because he's like the new top black comedian.
Another movie I'm surprised we haven't heard any announcement on in terms of live action. I'm surprised we haven't heard anything about a live action Tarzan.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Tarzan. I could see that. You think they'll get Rosie O'Donnell back as the gorilla girl? I forgot her name.
Oh, God. It wasn't Tantor. Tantor was the elephant.
That was Wayne Knight.
Yeah. Oh. I can't remember the ape girl's name. Sorry. You know what? I'm amazed I never did a Sorcerer in the Stone live action. Yeah. One I would love to see. I would love to see a live action Robin Hood.
I could see that, but would they do anthropomorphic?
No, I could see them translating that into just regular live action.
Yeah, they should get Oliver Queen as Robin Hood. Yeah, the actor has Oliver Queen.
I don't know. His movie record isn't very good.
Yeah.
I know a movie that they're probably not going to do, but a lot of people would love if they did, would be Black Cauldron.
Yeah, I could see that, but that was kind of like one of Disney's downfalls.
Well, it flopped hard because a lot of people didn't want to take their kids to see it because it was kind of dark.
Yeah. Ooh, how about a live-action Great Mouse Detective?
That would be cool.
Yeah. Because, like, we've never seen
and obviously there's only one person they can get to play Basil.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yep.
Oh, yep. He'd be perfect.
It's got to be Benedict Cumberbatch.
Man, too bad Vincent Price isn't still alive to be Ratigan. I think I know who could play him.
Hey, I have a question. That Pan movie that came out, was that Disney?
I don't think so.
Or was that a different studio?
I think it was a different studio.
I could have sworn that was Disney.
I think I know who could play Ratigan in a live-action movie. Since Vincent Price passed away. This actor's still alive. How about Tim Curry?
Yeah. That'd be cool to see.
If he can still act.
I know, I'm not sure if they would be willing to do it, but I would love to see a live-action Treasure Planet. I love that movie.
I've never seen it.
A lot of people don't like it because they think the aesthetic and the character are a bit too generic because it's fantasy steampunk.
You think they'll do a live-action Atlantis?
Atlantis.
Yeah, there was a movie about Atlantis that Disney made.
Oh, the one with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
You mean the Stargate ripoff? I I don't know. The reason why I'm not sure about Atlantis or Treasure Planet is because neither of them made big bucks.
Yeah.
They are part of what is considered Disney's Dark Age.
Yeah.
Well, second Dark Age. They had two Dark Ages, I think.
Well, I know that the. Oh, I know what a good live action movie that they could do: Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, you know what? I totally expect to see a live action Rapunzel.
Yeah, I can see that too. But if they did live action Princess and the Frog, they should get David. What's his name? Is it Keith David or David Keith that did Facilier?
I'm not sure. We probably won't see a live action Hero 6 because that's gonna get a TV show.
Yeah. You think we'll ever get live action Pixar movies, like a live action Toy Story or a live action Incredibles?
Ooh. I don't know if live action Toy Story would really be good because the toys are already CG.
Yeah.
The only thing you'd be replacing would be the humans, and you see so little of them.
Yeah.
There'd really be no point.
Uh-huh.
Live action Incredibles, I could see.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a live action Oliver and Company.
Yeah, yeah. But that was kind of like around Disney's Dark Age as well.
Yeah, that's another movie that's kind of considered in the, not many people. It's not looked at as fondly as a lot of other movies.
Yeah. But it does have a following.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent movie. I think the biggest thing that holds back Oliver and Company is it is plastered in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it came out in 1988. But it just has that 90s feel to it. So it just doesn't hold water as well when it comes to timelessness. Yeah. They could fix that. They could kind of modernize it a bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I'm also surprised we haven't seen a live action Rescuers. I'm not sure because part of that movie is based on the fact that they're so small, so I'm not sure if that would transfer over to live action well.
Well, speaking of Disney, how about we talk about another Disney-owned property, which is Marvel, and recently they've released the new Spider-Man trailer.
Yes, the Spider-Man Disney XD.
Spider-Man, a Disney original channel movie.
Here's the thing. I saw that trailer, and there was something that bugged me about it. And I kept racking my brain, and it took me a while to figure out what it is that bothers me so much about it. And eventually, I finally realized what it is. The Spider-Man trailer does not say Spider-Man to me. It says teen superhero, but it doesn't specifically say Spider-Man. I brought this up with you before.
Yeah, you said that it was more like Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle.
Yes, I was saying you put a different coat of paint on it, and so much of that movie feels like it could be a Blue Beetle movie. They removed so much of what makes Spider-Man unique among other teen superheroes. And I'm sure it'll be a good movie, but it just doesn't say Spider-Man to me. And the big reasons for that is, number one, he's no longer alone. He's got a friend who's in on his secret. He's got a mentor. I would not be surprised if Aunt May ends up learning about the secret. Yeah. Another thing is he's no longer really broke because he's got Tony Stark supplying all his equipment. Because not only does that take away from the fact that he's supposed to be dirt broke and scrounging for money to help his aunt, it also takes away from his need to develop tech for himself. That was another big part of Spider-Man, was that he developed all his tech himself. He developed his web shooters. He developed his spider signal. He developed his spider tracers.
Well, you know how Spider-Man, he is like a scientific prodigy, and he idolized people. Like, you know, in the 90s series, he idolized Doc Ock. Well, I'm guessing that in this, he's going to idolize Tony Stark.
But here's my thing. Tony Stark is supplying him with all his gear, so there's not
Yeah.
that same level of incentive for him to build gear of his own because Tony Stark's just going to be able to build him stuff way more advanced.
Yeah, because even in the last movie, Spider-Man didn't. He did have the web shooters, but he ordered them from Oscorp.
Because this movie is taking a very different route from any other teenage Spider-Man, and in some ways that's interesting because it's different, but it's also a teenage Spider-Man storyline that has never really been an option because of the way teenage Spider-Man is. And the route that they are taking is, I want to prove myself to my mentor. That is the specific route they are taking. They highlight that in the trailer. But Spider-Man never had a mentor.
Yeah.
So that route was never an option when it comes to teenage Spider-Man. And that's why it feels so much like a Blue Beetle movie to me more than anything else.
Yeah.
Is because I could easily see, because that is something that Blue Beetle does in his series. He does have that mentality of, I want to prove myself to this older hero.
Because, and I doubt that this is an origin story because, like, everybody knows who Spider-Man is at this point.
Yeah, no, they're skipping the origin, which I do like that.
But, so we won't see flashbacks of Uncle Ben?
We might get flashbacks. We'll probably get like one flashback.
Oh, imagine if Stan Lee played Uncle Ben.
That would be interesting, but considering Aunt May's age, I think Stan Lee's a little bit too old for them to make that
I don't know
realistic.
about that. I think Stan Lee gets all the ladies.
I remember someone suggesting like a Hugh Hefner movie with Stan Lee playing old Hugh Hefner.
That would be perfect. Also, Stan Lee is getting his own movie, but let's not talk about that.
That's another thing with Aunt May. I don't see this Aunt May struggling for money, especially not now that fucking Tony wants her, kinda. But like between him mentoring Peter and Aunt May likely having a pretty good job, I don't see them being as hurt for money as normal Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
And here's something that kind of makes me doubt that these guys fully grasp Spider-Man. One of the reasons they changed it to Peter having an apartment was they specifically said, well, we thought the idea of a widow with her teenage nephew living in as big of a house in suburban New York was unrealistic, i.e., there's no way they could afford that on Aunt May's pension salary. Here's what they gloss over. That house was already paid for. Ben had paid for that house. Ben had finished paying for that house like over a decade ago. That house was already paid for. May's petition and whatever money they had and whatever money Peter made, that didn't go for rent. That went for the utilities and any kind of yearly land mortgage there was. But they didn't have to pay rent. They just had to pay utilities.
I see.
So that's kind of the thing that makes me feel like they kind of just want to modernize it a bit more just to modernize it because these days almost everybody lives in an apartment.
Yeah. But imagine like if since Spider-Man has it good now, imagine if in the sequels like he loses everything. Like he loses like his house. He probably loses his aunt, his job and everything and probably has to build himself back up again.
That would be an interesting route to take. I would very much like that idea if it's like Tony just kind of abandons him.
Yeah, because like they kind of did that with Iron Man, like because Iron Man had like a business and a Malibu house, but then like he lost it all in the third movie.
That would be. I would very much enjoy if that were the twist.
Yeah.
That Iron Man just kind of abandons him.
Or what if he dies?
No, because he's got to be in Infinity War.
Yeah, but what if he dies after Infinity War?
Yeah. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Tony after Infinity War.
Or like what if he retires or like he ends up crippled or something?
Yeah.
And imagine this. Well, I'm sorry. Never mind that. But like, I do like how Michael Keaton is playing the Vulture. How they actually got an actor with comic book
History.
movie history is actually playing a villain this time.
I like that they're put. Here's the thing. I said before that I didn't like that their justification for Peter's in apartments because there was a legit reason for him having a house. One plus I will give them is using Liz Allen because that is a character that is almost always glossed over.
Yeah.
That was Peter's first high school crush.
Well, oh yeah, that is true.
She was in issue number 1.
Yeah, that's right.
She was in Amazing Fantasy 15.
But her boyfriend was Flash Thompson.
Well, yeah, but just because she already has a boyfriend doesn't mean Peter can't go.
Looks like he's gonna have to tip his fedora.
Well, because he eventually actually did date Liz for a little while.
Yeah, that is true. Because like I think Liz got tired of Flash's
Yeah,
shit.
she dumped him either late in high school or early college because she kind of just realized.
Yeah, but even though Flash was a dick, you kind of have to feel bad for him in the comics because like he did change his ways and then he went to Iraq, I think, but lost his legs.
Well, yeah. Also, Flash does have, it's never fleshed out until much later, but Flash does have a legit reason for being kind of an asshole. His dad was an abusive alcoholic.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Was that also in the Ultimate storyline, or just in the mainstream?
Flash was not as much of a jock in the Ultimate storyline, in the Ultimate comics. In the Ultimate comics, he wasn't as much of a jock and he wasn't as much of an asshole. He wasn't so much a bully. He was a bit of a bully, but he was more just a dude bro asshole more than a jock asshole. I don't know if they ever explained his backstory in the Ultimate Universe. I know that he wasn't as buff because he was a basketball star in that.
I wonder if he's introduced. I wonder if they'll give him like a different sport to play. Like we've seen him as a football player, we've seen him as a basketball player. Why not make him a wrestler? Or make him into an MMA nut.
I don't think wrestling in high school gets as much fame when it comes to team sports. I don't think you get as big, and no offense to anybody who is in high school and does wrestle, I don't think you get quite as big of the pep rallies and stuff.
Well, some schools do, because like our rival schools back in my high school, El Medina, they actually had cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, you have cheerleaders and you have pep rallies. I'm just saying, I don't see as much publicity and stuff and as much posters and come out and support the team for wrestling as I do for like football.
Yeah, but my wrestling team didn't have no cheerleaders.
One thing I would like to do is I would love it if they ever get around to Venom. I would like them to do what they did in the Ultimate Comics and what they did in Spectacular Spider-Man, where they make it that Peter and Eddie were childhood friends.
But doesn't Sony own Venom, and aren't they planning a solo Venom movie?
I think most of their solo Spider-Man plans kind of fell through.
Yeah, but even if they do own Venom, do they own Eddie Brock or do they own Flash Thompson?
I'm pretty sure they own both. Like I said, I think the only one that Sony now has a say over is Spider-Man himself. That Marvel has a say over. If Sony wanted to do a Venom movie on their own, they could. But a Venom movie now, when very few people are aware of Venom outside of comic fans, I don't think that would really bring in the bucks.
Yeah. Plus, this Spider-Man trailer is like very racially diverse because Liz is African American. Peter has a Filipino friend.
See, I have no problem with diversity. My only problem is, why did the friend need to be an original character? Why not make it Harry?
Yeah.
Just because you put Harry in, that doesn't mean you have to make him a goblin. Yeah, people are going to expect him to eventually become a goblin, but you can subvert expectations by keeping him as the friend.
Didn't Peter Parker have other friends besides Harry Osborn?
Um, yeah, but they're very minor, and they're whether or not they're kind of canon. Some of them is a bit speculation. Like if they wanted, I could see them de-aging and putting in Hobie Brown.
Oh, you mean Robbie's kid?
No, no, no. Hobie Brown is a different character.
Oh.
Robbie's kid is Robbie Robertson Jr.
Oh, okay.
Hobie Brown is the character who becomes the Prowler.
Oh, okay.
But they do become very good friends. So I could see them putting in a young Hobie Brown. I could see them putting in a young, I forget the character's actual name, but a young Rocket Racer.
Oh, yeah. I kind of wish that we got the rights to X-Men back at Marvel because they can do like the ultimate relationship between Peter and Kitty.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, like what if Kitty was actually like a nerdy girl?
Well, she actually, I can't remember if it's the Ultimate or the regular universe. No, actually, in the regular universe, she is kind of a nerd.
Oh.
Like, one of her first issues, she makes a Star Trek reference.
Oh, cool.
She actually makes a couple during her early issues.
Like, I can imagine her, like, being like Janna from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Like, probably have, like, this huge crush on Peter, kind of like how Janna has a crush on Marco.
Yeah.
In the worst kind of way.
Like, I know she makes, one of the earliest episodes is when they activate the Danger Room, she makes a Beam Me Up, Scotty reference. That's kind of a joke.
That's cool.
But yeah, my problem is less putting in a Filipino friend and more, why not just put in a character who is already from the comics, and if you want to do racial diversity, fine, change his ethnicity.
Yeah. And you know how, like I said, that Spidey has, like, everything given to him? And, like, what if he lost it all? What if they can do that for a future story with, like, Kraven's Last Hunt? Like, Norman Osborn hires Kraven to go after Peter Parker and just, like, decimates his whole life. Like, probably gets rid of everybody that he loves.
Well, because, like, here's a good example of why I'm kind of iffy on the Spider-Man movie. If you were to substitute Peter for Miles Morales, just based on what we've seen in the trailer, would it change anything?
Probably not.
And that is my point. You could substitute out Peter for another teen hero, and you wouldn't have to change anything. That is my big problem with the Spider-Man movie. Is that this feels like a Spider-Man movie, does not feel like a Peter Parker movie.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's enough. We've gone over time.
Pretty much covered everything, and we can cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.